What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Naughty Egg Draw. My name is Jake, and today I am going to be taking this cute mouse figurine that I found at the thrift store and turn it into a creature monster thing using Super Sculpey. So if you're ready for this epic transformation, let's get into it. So whenever you're working with Super Sculpey, you want to make sure you build up areas using tinfoil first. This will help do two things for your sculpture. One, it's going to give the sculpture a little bit more structure, but two, it's also going to help avoid any cracking of the clay when you bake it. Super Sculpey has a higher chance of cracking the thicker it is. Now, as you can see, I made some sketches of how I wanted the piece to look and then printed them out bigger so I could use them as references while I was working. This helped me a lot. Not only did it give me an idea of what I was working towards, but it helped give me a visual guide on where I was going to have to build things up with foil and wire to bulk up certain areas. So here I'm just using the red clay for the mouth, and the only reason I'm using the red clay for this part is that after I put the teeth in, it would be almost impossible to paint in the mouth. With the red as a base, it would make it so I could just add a thin black wash and drip it down into the mouth later on to give it a little bit more depth. And now I'm just using transparent clay to make the teeth. I'm just doing this by rolling up clay and pinching and pulling off chunks of all different sizes. And once I have all of the teeth, I just bake the teeth in the oven for a couple minutes. And I actually over-baked the teeth slightly, but I actually liked the way it turned out, so I ended up keeping them. So now when it came to making the wings, I just used two different sized wires to make the base of the wings. I used a thicker gauge wire for the main bone of the wing, and then a slightly smaller gauge part for the bone that was coming off of it. And after I had the shape down and added a little bit of clay over it, I ended up baking it in the oven for a bit. And I didn't realize I had my camera off when I placed the thin layer of clay for the wing on there. All I did for that was I added some really thin transparent clay that I ran through my thinnest setting on my pasta maker and then baked it again for a short amount of time to give it some structure. And I basically just did the same thing for the other wing, so I didn't end up recording that part. But once they are baked and very strong, all I needed to do was fit them into place and add some clay over it to kind of hide the ugliness of the bone on the body. And sometimes you may need to remove some parts when you're doing stuff like this. I realized I needed a little bit more clearance to fit the wings in, so I took out one of the spikes on the back and then put it back on just a little bit higher. So don't feel like just because you already placed something that you can't change it. As long as you haven't baked something, make sure you make those adjustments now so you don't regret it down the road. And once I have everything done on the base layer, I pre-baked the whole thing just to get the base hard so I could come in and start adding more detailed work. So up until this point, I was using the original Super Sculpey, but now I'm using the extra firm Sculpey over my base layer. This clay is really good for doing finer details since it's a lot more firm and you won't end up squishing everything when you're holding it. And this is the point where the sculpture really starts to come to life. Hey guys, real quick, remember in the last video when I said this? I think this turned out awesome. So awesome, I might have to turn it into a shirt. Well, I did it. I redrew the design digitally, uploaded it to the interweb, and now you can get yourself a shirt just like this one. You could also get it in a sticker, or if you don't want to walk around town being basic with your pumpkin latte. No, you don't want that. You want to walk around town with this epic coffee mug. Just saying, way less basic. But yeah, no, sidebar over. So once everything was baked, it was time to start painting this little dragon. And to paint this, I am just using acrylic paints, and I'm just going in with thin-ish watered down layers of paint to slowly build up my colors. And I don't suggest here using cheap paper towel like I was at first. It kept leaving dust particles on the sculpture. I would suggest if you're going to use paper, use a nicer paper towel, or just switch to what I did and use a cut up piece of t-shirt material. Now, you don't have to use all washes like I am to build up your colors, but since I am not as much of a sculptor, I like to take extra time and really get it the way I like it. If you're someone who's a little bit more confident in your sculpture and sculpture painting skills, go ahead and paint it however you like to do it. To make the highlights here, I'm just adding a little bit of light purple and white to the base color I used, and then doing a little bit more of a dry brush to add it. That way it only hits the high points of the sculpture. And to add a little bit more of a shimmer to this piece, I am going over all of this with a wash of this metallic green color. The paint was a little more glittery than I thought it was going to be, but I really liked the color, so I kept with it. But that is pretty much it. After all of this was dry, I went over it with Super Sculpey gloss glaze to harden it all up and pull those colors out. But stay until the end to see the finished piece. Alright everyone, that is it. Our finished transformation. Who would have thought that that cute little mouse would turn into this epic dragon? I think this thing turned out pretty cool, but let me know what you guys think down below. And I also want to point out that I am actually making videos over at Smart Art's YouTube channel as well. So if you never get sick of this ugly mug, make sure to go check out the Smart Art YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link for it down in the description below. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video till the end. If you haven't yet, make sure you smack that sub button and hit that little bell button so you guys know when I'm posting videos. And like always, keep drawing, and until next time, bye!